Absolutely.
Swinging, having extramarital situations.
Yes.
But nothing's ever been confirmed.
No.
This is different. Hello, welcome to the Black Table Talks. This is my very good friend Aisha, my oldest friend. We grew up together, we went to school together, and we watched the Red Table Talk last night with Will and Jada, and we have some things to say.
We got notes.
Try and understand that the way that you view this specific scenario and the events that have transpired, they reflect your emotional capacity and your upbringing, things that you've been through, and that is what is going to trigger you into thinking or feeling the way that you're feeling right now about the situation.
Absolutely.
Disclaimer. So for the purpose of today's conversation, we are talking about the intimate relationship between August and Jada.
Yes.
You know, that Jada and that Will love is starting to have some very different connotations right now. We've always known that they've been unconventional.
Yeah.
They've been the epitome of black love in our childhoods and our adolescences.
We've grown up with them.
Absolutely.
A stalwart of like black love.
They are the blueprint for many.
Absolutely.
They've had no scandal. Now there have been rumours swirling for years and years and years about Will and Jada swinging, having extramarital situations, but nothing's ever been confirmed.
No.
This is different. August has come out himself and said that Will gave him permission. He was very clear. He did not mince his words, Asha.
No, he didn't. But Will didn't say that in the interview that he gave. He didn't say anything about that.
Jada even went as far as to say, I think what August was trying to... No, babes.
Like, he
August
said what he said.
There was an Instagram post that he put up, which the caption was very long and very detailed, describing Jada as the love of his life.
Which is a super deep statement.
He was a consenting adult.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what people have to say about... A lot of the questions that came through to my Instagram were, do you think Jada was taking advantage of him? Now, we have slightly differing opinions on this. Aisha, you go ahead.
Okay, so I think that when someone is emotionally vulnerable and also unwell, that full stop, they're just a vulnerable person. So when you come to them and you're offering help, they're in a situation where they actually might not be able to say no to that help. He said, yes, I need help. He's accepting of this help, but also I'm manipulating you into a relationship. I don't know. Is she manipulating him into a relationship? I really, really don't know, but it feels iffy to me. It does feel like a level of manipulation.
For him, not for her, whether or not she was separated. I'm just saying that he didn't overstep a boundary in terms of interfering in a relationship that was solid, because they've stated that.
I do not believe him to be a homewrecker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Fair.
But I do believe that maybe she could have been a bit more selective
with who she chose.
That's her Pickney's brethren.
This whole conversation was super awkward to me. The body language of Will, the body language of Jada, like they were both just sat so far away from one another. I felt awkward, like I was intruding
on a private conversation.
Exactly, a conversation that I should have never heard, should know nothing about. Yet I'm here front and centre with millions of people.
They did not want this conversation to have this level of public
scrutiny.
This was supposed to be something very private, and as they mentioned, this was 4 years ago, according to them. However, Exhibit A, there was a Red Table Talk 2 years ago, 2018 July, where he came to the Red Table, and now I'm looking back at it and I watched it again. It looks kind of
like they were still in a relationship. Yeah. She literally gave us her own receipts from her own show.
That's exactly what she did. I believe the cultural backdrop of love is it shapes us in a very powerful way, because the era that we're living in is the era of romanticism, and that is to say that love should be this beautiful flowery thing that, oh my god, I'm so drawn to you, you're the one
together forever, happily ever after.
Exactly. There's no quibbles, no issues, and I just don't believe that's healthy, and I think it leads to very unrealistic expectations of what a partnership is. Neither of us have been with anyone for 25 years.
No.
Neither of us. No. Neither of us have been married.
No.
I came close. How do you believe that relationships should function?
I believe that is between those two people. You define...
you said two people. You said two people.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I would say that I'm a traditionalist in that I believe it's two people. Yeah. I don't know about no thruples. Like, it's not for you. It's not for me. I don't judge anyone. If you want to thruple up. I think that you set your boundaries in your own relationship with that other person or 17 other people, as the case may be.
I think this scenario is triggering for a lot of people in different ways based on what their emotional history is, what they saw their parents go through, or what they've maybe been through in previous relationships, current relationships, what the general view of a relationship looks like today. And that, for the most part, is a heterosexual, monogamous relationship. That's the most widely accepted norm. And anything outside of that confuses people, it aggravates people. For me personally, I don't care what other people are doing. It's their business. I genuinely have zero time to care about what other people are doing. I don't.
Do you know that the bills have to pay? Like,
it doesn't pay my bills. And for me, looking at this situation specifically, I see a very hurt young man. I see a hurt older man. And I see a woman who understands. I believe she's fully aware of
her transgressions.
And her entanglements. From what I feel watching that video, she's either dealt with it and is internalizing it and is trying to be as like flatline and level as possible, or she just doesn't really see that she's done anything wrong to either party.
And I can't work that one out, because if you look at her past videos on Red Table Talks, like she's super emotional about stuff all the time, and on this she was so level. Like at no point did her voice shake, did her hand quiver, apart from the fact that she was clearly uncomfortable.
Awkward jokes.
The awkwardness.
Bad marriage for life. Many a truth is told in jest.
Yes, absolutely. And also, my mum always said to me that if you are unhappy in a marriage, you should get out. Obviously, yes, you should try your best to do the things that you need to do to try and make the marriage work. But sometimes, actually, you married the wrong person, and why should you be unhappy for the rest of your life? So there's no bad marriage for life for me personally.
See, the way I view that saying, I still think it was awkward and the joke was very awkward. But the way I view and interpret what they're saying is, no marriage is perfect.
Agreed.
That's what I think they were trying to say.
And
it
the
just,
words
the
mean
quote was,
things.
the quote was very mad.
Like, that was
very mad.
And I understand what they were trying to do, you know, bad boys for life, I get it, but no. Get it off.
A lot of people think that we get to choose who we fall in love with, and oh my gosh, I just met him and he was the one, and I just knew him instantly. I agree.
Yeah.
But I also think that we fall in love with people who care for us in familiar ways, and not necessarily the ways that we feel we should be loved. Like the ideal versus what we are familiar with and used to, and what we then search for in a partner.
Which also means that if you were treated poorly previously, you're going to be searching for the wrong things.
And not consciously. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a conscious decision, but subconsciously you might well be seeking out traits in somebody that maybe if your dad was a little bit absent or was rude to your mum and quite standoffish, subconsciously you might find a partner that does the same thing to you, but you feel that without that, there's no passion. That Jada and that Will love is between Jada and Will.
That's
and
true.
Who are we to say that should look like X, Y, Z? But this goes back to what I was saying about the way we are triggered by the situation is based on our own emotional history.
Definitely.
And if you examine the things that you've been through, you will learn something about yourself.
I also think that you can't just throw the word healing around like Jada does. Is Jada healing, or are the people that she hurt healing?
Or does she think she's healing people that she's hurt and she's just, in fact, inflicting more damage?
Like, I feel like Jada's really good at talking a lot, but is she saying anything?
My friend Danny said yesterday very poignantly that a lot of people that use the word healing in the way that Jada does are the most toxic people. Because they are the ones inflicting the pain. But then they see it as pain that they've had to endure, and therefore they have to heal.
Which is a narcissistic tendency.
Yes. And her using the word entanglement makes me feel inclined to agree with him, because that's a very negative way to look at it. Whereas August describes it as intertwining, which is has so much more beautiful connotations.
Completely different imagery when you hear the word intertwine as opposed to entangle.
And my iPhone headphones. Is that why I am? It's rude. It's very rude.
Very rude.
I would feel very disrespected as August listening to that.
August is clearly feeling upset, because look at the tweets that he's sent since. Like, he is hurt. He is truly, truly hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're trivializing it, but Jada doesn't seem to be responding in the way that he needs, which isn't, she doesn't have to.
Responsibility at this point in time.
It just seems so cold and so manipulated and so calculating. I need to clear my name and let you guys know that I was separated when this happened. Neither of us are home wreckers. This is nothing to do with Will.
I just wanted to feel good.
She wanted to feel good. She needed to make herself feel good, and so she she got entangled.
Will said, it's critical to be able to make mistakes without the fear of losing your family. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a really beautiful sentiment. I don't know if that works in practice.
Okay.
So I think absolutely he's human. People make mistakes. She's human. People make mistakes. I don't have an issue with the actual statement, but how far are you willing to push this? Why is anyone sat at home going, do you know what? I'm just about to make the biggest mistake of my life. Fuck up my whole family. That's not for everyone. Maybe that works for them. Again, this is one speck of their huge relationship.
Yeah, it's less than a fifth.
Exactly, like it spans 25 years. This is 4 to 5 years of their relationship. We don't know anything that happens there.
He said that after saying, I can love you through anything.
Which is
and
a deep statement.
That for me was the most comfortable he looked in the entire video. I believe they love each other deeply.
Yeah.
Are they in love? I think what that means changes. And I have not been in a relationship for that long.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and speak from experience. But what I can say is, I agree with the idea of that and the ideal of being able to love someone through anything. Has that been tested to its limits though? Cheating is one thing. Like, let's be clear. Most people have been cheated on or have cheated on somebody. That's a kind of a normal thing.
Yeah.
You are very lucky if you've gone unscathed in this lifetime.
Absolutely.
Without having to deal with adultery or cheating or ass. You know, you're very lucky, genuinely. And if you, not being funny, really not being shady, but if you have, you might not have. It might have just been very well kept.
Think about it.
It might just be they got away with it.
Yeah.
Or you got away with it. Essentially what he's saying is, I'm your ride or die.
Yes.
Now for me, I have questions.
Think about it though. He said, I'm your ride or die, and Jada said, I'm a tester. Like, that bothers me.
Yeah. But what we don't know is the things that Will's done to test.
Oh no, Will's done some shit. That was apparent.
Many a rumour.
I'm sorry, that girl is smoking and she's pregnant.
She looks like a pick-me.
Wowza. I'm sorry.
I think ride or die as a concept is a beautiful thing. It goes back to what we were saying about romanticism.
Yeah.
But there are things that I can't forgive.
Absolutely.
Or I might be able to forgive, but it doesn't mean I still have to be in the partnership with you.
It also doesn't have me at any point having my man saying org. Just, he said org.
Were you giving the side thing nicknames like that, yeah?
Org.
But he was a family friend. He was her son's friend. August is claiming that they've had a transformation from a marriage to a life partnership. And the difference between those things would, I'm assuming, be intimacy and could be many, a plethora.
They could just, they got so much money. They could just be two strangers in that house.
I remember one of the Red Table Talks, I remember them saying, you are going to go over there and figure it out, and I'm going to come over here and figure it out, but what we're not going to do is divorce. Yeah. And that's probably in relation to this exact conversation.
It's weird. We should go back and watch like a bunch of these and just see what we can infer now that we've got this extra bit of information, because I think we're going to see things in a completely different light.
Bringing me to my next point. She also says that a deeper understanding of love is forged in fire. You have to go through the fire to the wire in order to understand those deeper planes of love. Again, the closest I've been to that, I think, was probably in my engagement. And there were some things in that relationship which, looking back at now, I was 23 at the time.
Yeah, which is young.
It is young. And when you think that this is how young Homeboy was.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know who you are yet. You haven't been through half of the things
that will shape you.
Exactly. And that's why this is so confusing to me, because Jada is a big titty woman. She's grown. She's real. Do you know how many things she would have been through in her life? Yeah. And then August is just become an adult. The way that they're viewing things is so different. Entanglement. A lot of the questions I got on Instagram were along the lines of, are they frauds? Have they sold us a dream, or have we decided to assign them the role of the perfect couple? Yeah, I don't think they're frauds. I think they have said that we are Will and Jada and we're married, and we have put our own perceptions on what that is and what that means. I don't think they're frauds at all. I think it is what it is for them. This is just how their relationship has unfolded, and we're seeing another side of it. Could you be in an open relationship, or could you be in a throuple? I definitely couldn't. Oh no, let me not say definitely. Woo! In my old age, I'm really realizing that everything that I thought I was or
the views I hold of myself, they're actually malleable.
Okay.
And they're more fluid than I even thought they were. Because on examining relationships as a whole, like in a more general way, and looking at my own relationships, past and present, my relationship presently, and as I get older and I gain more insight into what I need or want from a situation, I don't believe that it's a hard no for anything.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because I haven't been presented with that, I wanted to say opportunity. Before I met my boyfriend, I was in a phase in my life where I was like, you know what, bun this. I'm gonna have a baby with my friend. I'm gonna co-parent, and we're just gonna spud. Your weekend, safe. Do you know what? I want to go out and da-da-da. Can you have baby? Yeah, great. Or da-da. Like, and just be cool.
And I was always the person that was like, are you sure?
Yeah, that's true.
Is that really what you
It's true,
that's what you want? Cool, but are you sure?
I had lost a lot of hope in the idea of a traditional relationship. And I say that to say, I still don't feel like traditional monogamy, in the general, broad, normal sense of the word that we're using it in today as a society, I just don't think it works.
See, I disagree, but I also think it's based on how I grew up and all the examples that I have around me. Yeah. Just everyone is married in my family. Yeah. I don't know if they're happily married, I just know that they're married.
Aisha's mum and dad, for reference, have been married for how many years?
So 32 years. Yeah, my grandparents were married until my granddad died.
Did they part? Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too.
But I completely understand that not everyone sees it that way. Not everyone's had that example. Not everyone even wants that. And if you don't want that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't judge anyone for it. It's just what I want.
And that's my point. Yeah. The point that I keep trying to make, and maybe I'm not being clear enough, is that what we view as normal is based on our own personal experience, and what society as a whole deems to be normal right now. Black and white people were segregated in our parents' lifetime.
Absolutely.
So just because it's culturally acceptable or a societal norm doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's okay, doesn't mean it's working.
No.
And back to my point, most, if not all, monogamous relationships somewhere along the line have some sort of issue with cheating or straying or discontent. Is it really working the way that it is right now, or do we need to make change? Do certain people need to make changes to the way that they think a relationship should function?
But that comes back to my point of you make your boundaries in your own relationship. So if your boundary is you can cheat with this person, but definitely not that bitch, then fair enough. That's do you know what I mean? Like, that's your boundary.
It's clarity.
It's clear. It's clear as day. And if that's what makes you happy, thumbs up. I'm with it.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's the deceit. For me, I think I'm more of an issue with the deceit than I do with the actual physical act of somebody sleeping with somebody else.
Yeah.
Emotional intimacy is a very different kettle of fish.
And I think that's the difference between Jada and Will. I think Will has been out there having lots of little dalliances, but no entanglements. But okay, so what are your final thoughts on the situation?
I really feel that there's so much to learn from taking a step back and understanding that your views on this situation are really based on your personal experiences in your lifetime.
Agreed.
And it doesn't make them right or wrong. They just are. It's just a great opportunity to really look within yourself and understand the things that make you feel certain ways and why they make you feel that way.
That's the important, like, why.
For me, really, I could give two shits about what Jada and Will Smith are doing or August Alsina is doing, but I looked at the situation as a way to reflect and grow and evolve my own personal life and my own personal understanding of what I believe a relationship should, could, will, might be. Yeah. It's no one else's business.
It just isn't. We're not here to judge anyone. It's just the way that they define their relationship is made potentially. In fact, it absolutely is different to how I define mine. Yeah. And that people need to be clear about their relationships. Put up your boundaries. Say, this is what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. And be true to your word. And I think that's a really good learning experience for anyone.
As long as you are clear with your partner or significant others as to your intentions, your boundaries, what you expect are your expectations, it leaves very little room for error. And you understand at that point that if that person goes against what you've asked for, they're doing it deliberately.
Yeah, there's no grey area.
No. If you've stated what you need, want, desire, etc., if someone goes against that, that's because that's what they want to do. And I'm not saying there's people don't make mistakes, but there's also the difference between a mistake and a choice.
Yes, very, very different, wildly different.
If someone is choosing to deliberately defy what you've requested or stipulated, that's your decision as to whether you're going to ride or die. Me, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But then do we all end up single and unhappy and alone if we do that?
But Will's made the choice to stay together.
He has.
He said that they ride or die. What's he say? Bad marriage for...
Oh my God, bad marriage for life.
Annoying.
I can't. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave your opinion. You're entitled to it. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, but I mean, you might learn something down there. I know I will have a look through it and respond to as many as I can. And I will see you in the next upload.